Today on Talking Sports with Miles and Andrew, episode 47, we have a Nom 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 segment. We will be talking about the MLB. We will be talking about contenders and pretenders in the NBA. Stay tuned. It's a great episode. Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Sports with Miles and Andrew. I'm one of your hosts, Miles Shields, and across the table from me is...
Andrew Volkman. I'm his co-host over here.
Hope everyone's having a great week and weekend. We have a lot to talk about today.
It's been a while, yeah.
It has been a while.
At least since we've been in person, because what was
Right.
it? It was the Hunter Wooler episode.
It was Hunter Wooler.
Yeah, the last episode, which, if you haven't already, go check it out.
It's a great episode. What? I mean, we had a lot of views. How many views were we up to?
At least on Spotify, I saw 30, and then YouTube was almost 10.
Wow,
maybe
look at
over
that.
10.
40
And
whole people.
I don't know about Apple Podcasts, but I saw the majority was Apple Podcast, and
Yeah.
it was a startling amount. I sent you that screenshot, right?
Of 1,000 plus.
I don't know if that's accurate, guys. I don't know if that's accurate.
According to Spotify creators, we had over 1,000 views on our...
That doesn't make sense.
It could, though.
It could.
I mean, Hunter Wooler's a big name.
At least where we are.
At least where we are. All right, so today we got a lot to talk about. We have been gone. We had a great break, taking off July, and if Jimmy Kimmel can take off his show, then we could take off a few weeks for ours.
Shout out to Jimmy.
Yeah, shout out to Jimmy. Please subscribe, Jimmy. All right, so nom nom nom. Let's get us started here. Got to talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
LeBron James signing a 2-year, $8 million deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. Andrew, instant reaction to this, even though it happened 2 days ago.
Well, if I'm remembering right, my instant reaction was, wow. I wasn't, entirely expecting that. I thought it was going to be a Miami Heat or a Cleveland Cavaliers signing. And even the Miami Heat thought they were going to get LeBron because they posted that, or they had arranged to have a LeBron James press or introduction video on their YouTube channel, and then they took it down. So they were very confident they were going to get him, but they ended up not getting LeBron James, and he's going to the 76ers. And you even predicted that LeBron was going to go to the 76ers too.
I did.
I think it was in the virtual episode I just had, it was 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, but you predicted it, though. So
did.
It was definitely on the table, and it definitely seemed like a really good fit because that was the one hole the 76ers had, which was another forward after they got rid of Paul George, but they got Jaylen Brown.
Right.
But now that 76ers team is absolutely loaded, and it's going to be hard to stop then, and they are immediately the title favorites, at least to make it out of the Eastern Conference this year.
Absolutely. And I was thinking you looked at the starting lineup before LeBron James. It was going to be Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, Dean Wade, and Joel Embiid.
Dean Wade, being your weakest link, and he's a pretty good role player. It's not terrible.
It's not terrible, but when you have everyone else, you feel like you need to have another one.
Yeah.
You have LeBron James.
Or you can plug Anthony Simons into that rotation, into the starting lineup as the 2 or the 3.
You're going to have Simons, I think, coming off the bench for VJ Edgecombe.
Yeah, probably.
And coming in there,
Yeah.
which is a great guy off
absolutely.
the bench. Absolutely. 15 points per game coming off the bench. He's absolutely incredible. Now they just got Cadwell Pope.
Yeah, KCP.
He wanted to go. I mean, he literally asked them to leave the Grizzlies to go to the 76ers, which is obvious.
That's a pretty solid second unit that the 76ers have going on over there.
Absolutely. You don't see a team with this many superstars have that much depth.
Yeah.
But I will say there is a glaring issue in the fact that super teams have failed so many times, right? We saw the Knicks. That has been the one super team that has made it work through free agency, through training. Because I'm going to be honest with you, this is looking similar to a Nets team.
Yeah.
That didn't work out.
No.
But I'm a little bit worried because you have a guy, Jaylen Brown, always had the ball last year. He was the only guy with the ball in that Celtics team. LeBron James has always had the ball in his hand throughout his entire career. Joel Embiid, before Maxey got there, he was the only one getting the ball.
Yeah.
So I'm questioning if there's more individuals than an actual team.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping not. I'm genuinely rooting for the 76ers to be good, but there's a lot of individuals, and I'm not sure how that team's going to work. But Nick Nurse is a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't doubt him.
Yeah.
But that starting lineup on paper, that's a 2K demon team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 2K demon team right there. So that's a good team.
Yeah, and plus LeBron had to take a $48 million pay cut to join them, which
Right.
is incredible. That's
Well,
he's
Dante Moore was getting paid more than LeBron at this point yearly, which is like a college football player is getting paid more than.
I mean, and that also shows just like LeBron wants to win. He doesn't
Right.
want the money. He wants to win. Like it sucks that he didn't go back to Cleveland or Miami to have like a storybook ending, but it could be his own storybook ending, which is going to get another ring and
Right.
maybe solidify himself as one of the best, if not the greatest of all times.
Absolutely.
And also the other concern that you didn't mention this, but injury concerns is going to be also there for the 76ers, specifically with Joel Embiid. LeBron's had injury concerns as of late in the last couple of years. And there's going to be, how many other injuries are they going to have this year?
Right.
That's going to be a big thing for the 76ers. And they're one Joel Embiid injury away from having Adem Bona being their starting center, which he's not bad, but can you rely on him in the biggest moments in the playoffs?
No.
Yeah, I don't know either. So, yeah, but definitely a very interesting signing. Very exciting that LeBron finally picked a team to go sign with. And for that amount of money, it's absolutely insane, man. I still can't believe that he's going to be a 76er for that amount of money. It's unreal.
And it's a 2-year deal.
Well, it's a player option. Well, yeah, player option or not. It's still a 2-year deal.
It's still a 2-year
deal.
deal.
So, the 76, and I think Jaylen Brown's contract runs for at least the rest of LeBron's contract. I know that for sure. I think so does Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey's as well. So
you have the team.
This is the window.
Right.
This is the window. And plus, you still got VJ Edgecombe on a rookie deal.
Right.
So, yeah, the time is now for the Philadelphia 76ers to win a championship. What's next up, though, Miles?
All right, let's talk about the NFL training camp.
Ooh, okay.
We are about to get into my favorite point of the entire year.
Yeah.
NFL season, baby. This is it.
And frankly, this is one of our best parts of the sports season for
Love
us.
it. It's so amazing. Football, not too long like baseball or basketball. Not too many players like baseball, so you can remember everyone on the team. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
All right, we don't need to keep hearing you glaze about football.
Let's
man.
talk
we
about
all
it.
know baseball's really good too.
NFL is amazing.
Okay,
Football
I'll give you
is
that.
forever amazing.
Anyways, what we got?
Jacoby Brissett got a contract. Absolutely deserve it. Clap it up for that guy. I mean, he played an incredible season on a terrible team.
Yeah.
A team that really had no one besides Trey McBride, who just apologized to Arizona fans because he pretty much said that nobody lives in Arizona whenever it moves away. Which is fair. There's just a bunch of old people going there for a few months.
And Corbin Burns.
And Corbin Burns. Forgot about him for a while.
And all the other MLB players that like to live there, I guess.
Right. Andrew, what's that contract?
So I think it's a new renegotiated contract for $15.5 million, like base, and then it can get up to $21 million by the end of the year, probably with incentives and other contract negotiations and whatnot. So it is a 1-year deal though. So Jacoby Brissett still will become a free agent most likely after this season and will be still fighting for his next contract, which means he'll be playing pretty good probably most likely. And
I hope.
Yeah, and there's also a question that you had though about possibly can he still have the starter's job by the end of the year? I know you were talking to me about that before we started. Do you think Carson Beck has legitimate chance to be the starter for the Arizona Cardinals this year?
I do. I mean, look at the trend we've seen, right? We saw Joe Flacco was the starting Browns quarterback. That didn't last long. Every year we see it change. Kirk Cousins was the Falcons for a little bit. And I just think that the best case scenario is that Brissett plays solid football and you don't have to worry about Carson Beck going in. Most likely you suck again and Carson Beck plays the last few weeks. That's best case scenario for the Cardinals because I don't see them being contenders.
Yeah, or Jacoby Brissett gets hurt.
Which is even worse because then after, you have Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
It's a complicated quarterback room because Carson Beck, I think, is fighting for that backup job because Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback.
Good backup quarterback.
Good backup.
Let's be fair.
Let's be specific.
Let's somewhat roll a little bit here.
Right. So, and I think Carson Beck, we were talking about it, and I said I think Carson Beck's NFL ready. And you said his deep ball is not great. I countered that with, who are they going to be throwing deep to? Yes, Marvin Harrison. He's
Michael
on the
Wilson.
field for 3 weeks a year because he's always hurt. But you got guys like Trey McBride running in routes. You have Jeremiah Love running into the flat. I don't think you need to throw deep. This is a great short ball, scruffy team. And I think with LaFleur at their coach,
Mike LaFleur.
Mike LaFleur at their coach, I'm excited to see what this team can do. Now, I don't think they're going to be good, but I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for them for sure.
I'll see. Yeah. What else we got over there?
Let's talk about Diego Pavia just got waived by the Ravens. Oh, wah, wah. Now, this is bad. He took second in Heisman voting, and they decided to keep him over a UConn undrafted quarterback.
Not to keep him. They decided not to keep him over a UConn
Right,
undrafted
not to keep. Sorry, Joey Fagano was kept over Diego Pavia. I didn't even know UConn had a football team till this year. All right, that's insane. That is insane. Andrew, what do you think about this? Because this is unprecedented.
Well, one, I think it just speaks to Diego Pavia's character. We all know what that is. And if you don't know, I think, again, just a simple statement that Diego Pavia, a Heisman winner, finalist. We love you, Fernando Mendoza. A Heisman finalist got cut before a undrafted quarterback from UConn. And he's not a basketball player. He's a football player, guys.
Yeah.
So let me just say that. Let's just point that out there. If you can't tell, that statement alone should tell you. And personally, I don't like Diego Pavia. I really don't. I know you really want him to make it because of the storylines, and I think that's fair. But good riddance to useless rubbish, I would say, if I'm a British person. Anyways, I don't. One, I don't care too much other than the fact that, thank goodness, Diego Pavia is out of the league for right now because I don't want to deal with that person. I don't want that personality in the league.
What?
We already have enough divas, and he might be the worst of them all.
I love it. I think it's great. I mean, think about how much people are going to be interested in this. We are always looking for the next big story. Shedeur was a big story last year.
That's true.
Falling down to the 5th round, everyone was rooting for him. He ended up making the Pro Bowl, which was stupid. The Pro Bowl is just a joke at this point. But like those are the kind of storylines, the people who are getting proven wrong that I want to see. Now, Diego Pavia, it's not looking too good for him in the NFL. Canadian Football League have offered him a contract, and there's a good chance he will be going up to Canada, eh?
Yep.
And we'll see what he does there, but I'm not sure. I want him to get another shot. But it would have to be on a team that I don't even know.
Just go to Vegas and, if you don't get, anything good over there, gamble your pains away, I guess.
He seems like the guy to do it. But Miami Dolphins, that could be a spot. They had nothing to lose at this point. Poor Malik Willis is stranded. Castaway reference.
Yeah.
Go back, find that episode. That was an amazing reference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's not looking too hot for Diego Pavia right now. You ready to move on to Kyle Shanahan?
Yeah. Oof.
Oh, poor guy. He is going to need some surgeries in his face because it might be messed up.
Yeah, he had that car crash in Northern California. Maybe it might have been Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, gosh.
I saw that was something. It might have been Brandon Ayuk. How poetic would that have been? But regardless, it doesn't sound like it was Brandon Ayuk. The other driver was fine. Shanahan, he's alive. Let's put that out there first. But he had a broken nose, broken hand. I think he had
broken ribs.
Broken ribs, too, as well. Yeah, I forgot about that. And then he's got to get like 40 stitches in his face, I think.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, like as much as, Packers fans don't love Kyle Shanahan for all the pain he's caused us in Wisconsin in the NFC Championship game, yeah, that hurts. And we don't wish any goodwill on anybody.
No.
Except, at least for me, I don't wish anything good for Diego Pavia. I hate it, sorry.
But back to Diego Pavia. But our prayers go out to Kyle Shanahan and his family. Yeah. We hope he could do good.
So, and I think the 49ers assistant coach, he's also their O-line coach. He will be taking over the majority of the plays and running training camp while Shanahan's recovering, and maybe even into the beginning part of the season, maybe the preseason, depending how long Shanahan's out.
We got to hope he comes back. Because, this doesn't even look like the 49ers anymore. We're not going to have George Kittle because of that Achilles, and we're not going to have Kyle Shanahan? What is this? This is not football.
The San Francisco call 911ers?
Yeah. I don't know.
That was a terrible joke, by the way.
Oh, God. Hey, can someone tell our producer to cut that out? Yeah. All right.
I'm on it, sir. I'm on it.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to stay with the football theme. College
eligibility. College eligibility, folks.
This is the second time I tripped over that
Now, this
word.
is a little bit older. Let me just get that out there. It is a little bit older. This came out, I believe, in June, maybe a little bit over a month ago. So this is something that, has already graced the surface of the front covers of newspapers and whatnot. But I want to get your take, Miles, because this is something that we haven't talked about because we've been so preoccupied with the NBA and the draft and the offseason, where LeBron might go. So yeah, nah, I'm never gonna get that time back waiting to see where LeBron's gonna go.
Oh yeah, that's a long
Darn.
time.
Anyways, so the new rules, if you're not aware, is that now college athletes in D1 sports, this only applies to D1 sports. D2 sports, I believe, still have the current rules or the former rules at this point that were virtual or not virtual, worldwide or whatever across the entire college sports. So red shirts and whatnot. But in D1 sports now, athletes can no longer take red shirts, or they have been basically, they're unusable and they don't matter anymore because players and athletes are only going to get 5 years period of eligible athletic years. So no freshman red shirts, no injury and medical red shirts. You can still take them, but they're pointless.
Right.
They don't matter that much. The NCAA hasn't banned them. It's just they still exist, but they don't mean anything. So what do you think about this, Miles?
I have mixed feelings about it. I'm not sure how I feel because I see both sides of it. Obviously, red shirt is a big part of college football.
Yeah.
Like that red shirt, I don't know. But then I understand because you have, COVID messed everything up.
Yeah. Not just college football, but the entire world.
The entire world was messed up by COVID, and I think that's why they were forced to do something because you had people suing the NCAA to get more years of eligibility.
Like Trinidad Chambliss.
Right.
Like he's the prime example. Brendan Sorsby as well.
Right.
Just had that now. What's going on with him?
I have no idea. I don't even want to talk about him right now.
I don't want to touch that.
It's
no,
so
thank
confusing. Anyways, yeah, I think it's the right thing to do, but at the same time, I'm not sure. I feel like the long-term effect is not going to be good for the NCAA. I feel like short-term is a great move. I feel like it's the right thing to do. You're going to cap off people who shouldn't be going, but then you're still going to have guys who are good, third-year players who are going to the draft. But I think in the long term, we're going to see the downfall of things and more money gets spiraled into the NCAA and all that NIL. I think this just completely boosted it.
Yeah, NIL and COVID really ruined college football. One of our greatest things that we've had over the last, decade, pretty much, I would say.
Absolutely. Now, we're good with that. We're good with football. Football's done for today. Let's go to the MLB.
Yeah, so the MLB has been weird recently. We had the pitiful All-Star game out in Philadelphia.
Yes. And Home Run Derby. That was stupid too.
The the Sandlot tribute for America 250. I don't know if you watched that, but I didn't watch it. It was that one scene where they had the Ray Charles music playing and all the kids on the Sandlot were just staring up at the fireworks. They had that something. There was just a bunch of fireworks around Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, and they had Ray Charles playing Sweet America. It was awesome. I watched it. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I felt like I was 8 again when I watched The Sandlot for the first time, which it took me that long to watch The Sandlot. Dang it. Anyways, the All-Star game wasn't great. Besides that, we're coming up on the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And lots of things are shaking up. First, something that's been crazy over the last 2 weeks, the Boston Red Sox are back over 500. From in the beginning of the year, firing almost everyone on their major league staff, manager, first base coach, hitting coach, whoever. They had to freaking bring up a bunch of staff from their AAA team to come take their spots. They're over 500 now because they had a 15-game winning streak, which actually I got to witness the end of it in Boston this past week. I got to go out to Boston for a couple days and saw the second game of the Wednesday doubleheader. And, Red Sox ended up losing to the Orioles 5-1, I believe, if I remember correctly. But anyways, that place was rocking. So if you ever get the chance to go to Fenway because it's awesome. But anyways, the Red Sox are back in trade talks to actually contend again, which is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
And they actually made a trade this morning, Connolly Early for Curtis Mead of the Washington Nationals. Real quick, I hate that trade. Connolly Early is way too valuable, and Curtis Mead is nowhere near that because Connolly Early is so good. He's so young, has so much team control. Meanwhile, Curtis Mead is finally breaking out in year 4 of being in the MLB. I don't think that's worth that much, even though the Red Sox have so much pitching at their disposal. But regardless, the MLB trade deadline is approaching. We have no idea where guys like Skubal may go. I'm hearing rumors that the Washington Nationals might look to trade C.J. Abrams. Mason Miller of the Padres might be on the move. There's so much stuff floating around. So let's start by talking about Tarik Skubal, the biggest fish in the MLB trade deadline pond at this point. Miles, what do you think about Tarik Skubal and where he might end up?
We were talking about this before the episode, and you talked about how his value has declined. I absolutely agree with
Yeah.
that. Injuries, he's not replicating exactly what he did last year, which is expected.
He's still good, but
Right.
injury is going to hurt him, and he's on the last year of his deal. He's going to be paid a lot for the rest of this year, and
Yeah.
you can't get him back, and you can't offer him the qualifying offer to get an extra draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
That was why the value has gone down on him.
Right, and I think that the Brewers, I'd be excited to get him. I would genuinely be very happy because I think that moves the needle for me. I think that
Yeah.
makes us contenders. But it's a CC Sabathia type thing where we'd only have him for a year. So that's what makes me nervous. But Skubal, without a doubt, best pitcher we've seen on the market in a while.
Yeah.
Dodgers are going to be the top team to get him.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Well-
If he goes to the Dodgers, baseball is officially ruined.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that right now.
And that fuels the salary cap debacle that's been going on. And we talked about that so much on this,
Yeah.
and we don't need to talk about it again.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers have such a loaded farm system that, they can trade for Tarek Skubal, giving up their 15th best prospect in their organization, who might as well be the 4th best in any other organization. So
Right.
it's insane. We're also seeing that maybe the Tigers might deal Framber Valdez, who's on a new deal, but we don't know where he might end up. There hasn't been nearly as much chatter. What about Yordan Alvarez of the Houston Astros? Been probably the best offensive player this season. He might be winning the Triple Crown this year in the American League because Aaron Judge has been hurt this entire year. What do you think about Yordan Alvarez? Do the Astros move on from him?
I don't see it. Because right now, people are going to the Astros games just to see him at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So I don't see them moving on from him because you move on from him. Right now, you still have Jose Altuve.
Yeah.
And so I think you wait until he's done, and then if you still suck, you get rid of Alvarez.
Maybe.
I think you try to continue, but I don't see them moving on from Yordan Alvarez.
Definitely. What about Joe Ryan of the Minnesota Twins? He's been one of the best pitchers in the American League, contending with Cam Schlittler of the Yankees for the Cy Young. I think Joe Ryan still has a couple years of control left, like maybe 1, 2, or 3. I think 2 more years, including this offseason. What do you think about Joe Ryan potentially getting traded?
I absolutely think he's going to get traded. I see him getting moved. I honestly see on that team too Byron Buxton getting moved
Really?
as well. I
Really?
think both guys are definitely on the block right now.
Definitely. Well, I mean, for Buxton to get traded, he'd have to do a little bit more. He'd have to waive his no trade clause, and he already blocked a trade, I think, once last year. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Do you think the White Sox are going to buy at the deadline? Because the White Sox are actually pretty good this year. They're over 500. They're contending for the division in 2026 with the Cleveland Guardians. Do you think they buy at the deadline?
Yes. I'm going to say yes. Now, the big thing that we have to talk about for the White Sox is Murakami.
Oh, yeah, Murakami, yeah.
He's awesome. He's been hurt,
A little bit, yeah.
He's been banged up.
Yeah.
but that power, he has got some power in him. And I'm excited. I think the White Sox are going to go out and get somebody. I'm not sure what they're going to give up. I don't know much about their farm system. I don't think it's great. But
They did just add Rock Chalowski, the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and so their farm system's actually gotten a lot better in just the span of 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
I think you're right. The White Sox may buy, but they're not going to go all in for the Red Sox might be with getting Curtis Mead on their roster.
yeah,
Okay, you're going all in. You're getting Curtis Mead. Yeah, we all know you're going in, Boston. We all see it out on the table. Last guy, real quick, is Mason Miller of the Padres. Padres have been iffy this year. Manny Machado has been awful for the San Diego Padres. A lot of guys have been underperforming. Jackson Merrill's been terrible. Nick Pivetta this year has been terrible compared to last year. And if I'm looking at the standings right now off the load, the Padres are currently 3rd in the NL West standings, 14 games behind the Dodgers for the division league. Do you think Mason Miller gets traded? And if I'm looking at the wild card real quick, they are 2 games out of the wild card right now, behind the Diamondbacks. So, do you think
no, I don't think they trade Mason Miller. I don't see it unless a team is willing to give up some other MLB ready star
and a pull bunt, a crazy good prospect,
right.
the Padres gave up for Mason Miller to the A's.
You're gonna need a great prospect, but if I'm gonna trade him, I'm gonna need a piece that I think can push me ahead of the Diamondbacks. I'm not selling. I just need a little swap. I don't think that's gonna happen. Mason Miller's been good this year. I don't see why they would need to move on from him.
Absolutely.
Now, Freddie Peralta, though.
Oh,
if
yes.
we're talking about pitchers.
Yes.
I'm interested to see where he goes and if he can turn it around, because I do think he can, because that Mets organization is so awful. So I'm excited to see where Freddie Peralta goes.
Yeah, actually, funny story. When I was in Boston for that Red Sox game, I was sitting in front of a Mets fan that was there. He was wearing a Red Sox jersey, but he was yelling about Pete Alonso, like, "Pete, can you come back to New York if we fire David Stearns?" I thought it was kind of funny. So, anyways, I was just asking him questions. Him not knowing I'm a podcaster, he probably still doesn't know my name. Anyways, I asked him, "What do you think about the Mets? Do you think it was a good move to, blow up the entire team to get rid of Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, and bring in Peralta, Bo Bichette?" And he said, "I think it was a good idea to blow up the core that we had because it wasn't working, but it definitely hasn't worked out to bring in all these other guys. And I wouldn't be shocked if we trade Freddie Peralta." So
Does Bo Bichette get traded then?
that's another good idea because Bo Bichette didn't sign a massive deal. I think he signed a 4-year deal, but he has like a bunch of opt-outs in the midst of it. I think he has one after this year too. So Bo Bichette could go hit the free agent market if he wants to, because he's getting paid a whole lot of money, like $44 million for Bo Bichette.
Ugh.
It's not good. It's not good. So
No.
I think I'm also hearing the Cubs might go get Freddie Peralta, which hurts.
That does hurt.
That does hurt. I also saw something funny, like, what the Brewers go get Freddie Peralta, bring him back for,
I wouldn't give him anything good. I would give him a load of crap, and then I'll take him back. And then I'd have him be like the 4 in the pitching rotation.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not working out for Freddie Peralta in New York. He's not pitching the way he wants to. I saw a Mets game, and he just looked uncomfortable. He didn't look happy. He was, like, pitching out of the windup. He never pitches out of the windup
Devin
anymore.
Williams.
Devin Williams.
I think those two are prime examples of guys we've traded to big markets and just sucked.
Yeah.
Because poor Devin. Oh, gosh, poor Devin.
The Mets also might trade a bunch of bullpen arms like A.J. Minter, Huskar Brazoban, who's been really good this year, Luke Weaver. They got a lot of bullpen arms that a lot of teams are going to be interested in. But I think that's going to wrap it up for trade deadline. Real quick, I do want to talk about some draft proposals in the MLB.
Okay.
I'll try to keep it brief. The MLB is proposing some new changes to the MLB draft where they plan to shorten the round, the total number of rounds from like 20 to 12. I don't know how you feel about that. You probably don't care that much. So, but the big thing is that the MLB wants to get rid of high school players being eligible for the MLB draft, which was what, in my opinion, and force players to go to college and spend at least 2 seasons in college like they have now. Like college players, you can't opt out of college as a freshman and be a sophomore and go into the MLB. You can't do that. You have to spend at least 2 years in college before you go to the MLB draft. What do you think about that?
We talked about this, and what I used as an example is Clay. So high schoolers getting drafted by these MLB teams should love that, because right now they are just like soft clay. They can fold and mold all these players into what they want. Where they go to college for 2 years, those college coaches make those players who they are. And that, I think, can mean butting heads on certain teams and certain players because the play styles won't line up. I just don't see it. I think high school, we saw the number 2 overall pick coming out of high school.
Grady Emerson, yeah.
So I think that would suck for players, obviously, coming out of high school, going to college where their careers could completely end in 1 year compared to going into the MLB. But I also think it ages the league a lot more, because you think about it, now these players are 2 years older and they still have to go through 4 years of minor leagues because that's around the average they're going to be in the minor league system. So now you got guys getting called up when they're 27, and that's the average, and rookies of the year continue to be 27 years old. That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's stupid. And I think it would be bad. Now, you talked about an international draft. That I like.
So, yeah, the international draft, what Miles is referring to, is another thing that the MLB is proposing to add, which is going to be similar to the MLB draft, obviously. There's going to be rounds. There's going to be picks assigned to teams. You can draft these international players. However, the minimum age of 16 that international players are eligible to sign with now will be moved from 16 to 18. So they will have to be, theoretically out of high school. And these are kids coming from Venezuela and countries that are not Canada and Puerto Rico, which is the only 2 non-United States countries that MLB players that can be, in the amateur draft that we just saw, like Rock Chalowski be in.
Right. But I think it's great.
Yeah.
Because, think about I'm done seeing star Japanese players go to the Dodgers. All right, I'm ready for the Brewers to get some guy like Yamamoto or something like that getting drafted. I think that's a great way to diversify the MLB, which will expand your audience, which will get you more money. I don't see why you don't do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it would also eliminate corruption in especially in Venezuela. I mean, there's reports that teams are offering these Venezuelan kids contracts at like 13, like when they're in middle school.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely absurd for them to come play in America when they get old enough, which is so bad. Like, I think Fernando Tatis Jr., one of the best players in baseball now, he got offered a contract like that from the White Sox, and now he's in a lawsuit over it.
Yeah.
Which is, it's so insane. So I think the international draft is good. The changes that the MLB wants to make to the draft, the amateur draft in America, not good. And it's all in an effort to, make things cheaper for the billion-dollar owners, which you've heard my opinion on it, and I'm not in favor of it. So we'll leave it at that. So, but let us know down in the comments, what do you think about these draft proposals that the MLB have, released? And this is just scratching the surface of it. There's so much more that we could talk about, but frankly, we don't have time for it. So we got to move on, though.
Yeah. All right. Great MLB talk there. Let's move to basketball now. The NBA. We talked a little bit about LeBron and how that moves the needle even more. It's crazy to think about how like a 42-year-old is moving the needle for a team right now in the NBA. But hey, that's good for him. So let's play a little game, Contender Pretender. Now, before I list off the teams, I want to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. They're not contenders.
No.
Now, I'm going to say, do you see them as a dark horse team that could be a play-in team?
If they don't sell Tyler Hero, Miles Turner, Kyle Kuzma at the deadline, and if they don't do that, maybe, and they're having a good season, maybe. But just like with, the lack of chemistry that they have a new coach in Taylor Jenkins. I think it's more likely that we will see, the former option of the season's not going amazing. They're not going to give up a terrible draft pick, to the Pelicans or the Blazers or the Hawks, to where they're going to play as best as they can for about half the season, then sell high on Hero, Turner, and Kuzma. They'll probably do that instead. So they'll probably end up being, just bottom of the barrel teams. Not the worst, but definitely not the best.
Ugh, disgusting.
But
all right.
Hey, look. The rebuild that the Bucks are set up for doesn't look too bad.
Doesn't look awful.
If the Gary Trent Jr. thing doesn't completely screw us over.
If Gary Trent Jr. is the reason why the Bucks crumble into just an always bad team like the Jazz, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, at least hopefully it won't be always bad, or it'd be just bad for, I don't know, not 5 years instead of 4.
I think.
I
think if
8 years instead of 5.
If we get disciplined because of this and they take away picks, I think that extends us 5 to 10 years of more rebuild. But let's play Contender Pretender, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. Starting off, they just made a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. They did not get LeBron James to be brought back, but they still have options. They signed Tim Hardaway Jr. There are some holes on this roster. They lost Norman Powell. It's the Miami Heat. Contender Pretender, Andrew.
Well, I think, in my opinion, these are contender moves to, one, go get Giannis Antetokounmpo and bring in Tim Hardaway Jr., who was, I believe, a runner-up or might have won the Sixth Man of the Year award. I think he might have won it actually last year.
He was a runner-up.
Oh, he's a runner-up. It wasn't Jaime Jaquez. I think it might have been. Was it Nas Reed again last year?
This year was Keldon Johnson.
Oh,
it
was
Keldon
Johnson. The year
before was Jaquez, I believe.
Yeah, and then Nas Reed won it a couple years ago. Anyways, he's a good get. He's a good sharpshooting get. They just got so many holes on their roster, though. Lack of depth is the big thing. The only good players that's off the bench they have are Nikola Jovic and Bobby Portis. Not really pushing the needle now. If the Heat go out and get guys like DeMar DeRozan or Russell Westbrook, maybe Klay Thompson, which I'm hearing is crazy, by the way, maybe that pushes the needle to being contenders. But right now, it's more of a pretender move than a contender move. They look more pretenders than contenders, in my opinion. But that can change in an instant because, you get one or two guys on the bench to, strengthen the depth. Pair that you have Giannis and Bam, it's easy still contenders because Giannis makes this team a contending team, but overall it's still a pretender.
Yeah, I would agree with the pretender. I just don't. I think they have too many holes. Even if they bring in a guy like Russ, I still don't see them. I still see the Heat crashing and burning. But yeah, let's move on because Yeah, Heat are a pretender. We're going to agree on that. Pretender for Heat. Next team, they made a trade for the Utah Jazz center Walker Kessler. They signed guys like Colin Sexton, Quentin Grimes, Sandro, blah, blah, blah.
Mamu Kelishvili.
You knew it. All right, it's the Los Angeles Lakers. They give Austin Reeves a contract. They have arguably the best player in the league with Luka Doncic. Are they contenders or are they pretenders?
They're contenders, in my opinion. They made a lot of moves now that LeBron is gone. Will they be able to play defense? I think Walker Kessler might be the only one to play defense on that roster, frankly. But, they got a lot of weird depth on that roster. They got depth, which is something they didn't have last year. But losing Rui Hachimura and LeBron is, I don't know. It's a little bit interesting. But you're bringing in guys like Sexton, who I love. You bring in Quentin Grimes, who I think is a great player, and Sandro Mamukelashvili. He will always be a Bucks player first. Let's just remember that the Bucks drafted him. So, yeah. I think they're still contenders though, because the depth is good. It's just, can it get to them in the championship? Maybe, but I think they're contenders still.
That's fair. I think they're kind of right in the middle for me. I don't see them beating a team like the Thunder, like the Spurs, like the Knicks. They're not that. To me, they're a play-in team.
Really?
So if they're a play-in team, then I'm gonna say they're a pretender.
Wow.
And not a
you have
contender.
it's a play. I guess maybe like a 7 or 8 seed. You got to be thinking 7 or 8 seed.
I mean, close, but I don't see it.
Wow.
I don't see it.
Wow. I knew you weren't high on them, but I didn't think it was that low.
As much as I would like to see Luka go out and dominate, I just don't. I see the Lakers as more of a play-in team, pretender type team.
Even I wasn't expecting that. Jeez Louise. Okay. What's
All
next?
right. Next team, they trade away the guy who single-handedly carried them. He was a former Finals MVP, but they got in return a guy who is maybe the most valuable player in NBA history. His name's Paul George. The Boston Celtics. Are they contenders or are they pretenders?
Ooh. I think they're pretenders. I don't think with the moves of getting Paul George, you're getting podcaster P over there, and not playoff P. You're getting podcaster P, unfortunately. And then bringing in Mitchell Robinson, like, it's good. You're stealing a piece from the champion Knicks. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you're getting a head case out of the locker room. You're getting Tatum back for a full healthy year, hopefully. I don't know. Like, this team's still gonna be good, but I don't think they're gonna do much. I think they're pretenders in the grand scheme of things.
All right, so I'm going to just contradict that because people at home, they don't want everyone to agree. I'm going to say they're contenders. I think Tatum, we saw what that team was able to do with one player. So now you have Tatum just filling the role of that one star that Jaylen Brown was. I think they have good young pieces like Peyton Pritchard, like Hugo Gonzalez, like Baylor Heimerman, something like that.
Yeah.
Mitchell Robinson, I think is an overpay, but you have a good guy. Like, he's good in the paint. And then Paul George, a healthy Paul George is going to help. No matter what.
It's going to help.
Healthy Paul George will still be good. He's not Jaylen Brown. But I'm going to say the Boston Celtics will be contenders this year. Next team. Now, this is going to be a hard one to answer because the trade has not officially gone through. But they, right now, are poised to get the most famous player they've ever had on that team who had led them to an NBA Finals championship. It's the Toronto Raptors. Are they contenders or pretenders? And we are going to go off the pretext that they got Kawhi Leonard.
I'm going to say contenders.
All right.
I'm going to say contenders. That starting five is really, really good. We saw them take the Cavs pretty deep in a playoff series last year. Now that you're adding Kawhi, we're going to say they're going to get Kawhi. I think that he can get them over the hump to push them even further. And again, he's the guy that brought that city a championship back in 2018 over the Warriors. So I'm going to say contenders. Depth you can worry about later because this team has developed some pretty good players to be off the bench. So with that being said, we're going to go with contenders for the Toronto Raptors.
I'll agree with contenders, but I'll say it. If Kawhi is healthy, they're contenders. Without Kawhi, they're pretenders without a doubt. So, I don't think they could do it. I would agree with Kawhi is the only thing that's going to push them over the hump.
Again, I think it makes sense that, their fate hinges on Kawhi.
Absolutely.
In both cases, whether he's hurt or he's or he's not on the team, period.
All right, so on the flip side of that, the team that would receive Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, they have Benedict Mathurin, most likely they will have him back. They got Darius Garland, which is an insane move. The Clippers GM is on a roll right now. Do you see the Los Angeles Clippers as contenders or pretenders?
I think Well, one, I don't think they're contenders to be a finals winner. I think that's very clear because we haven't seen them go the distance. I don't think even since like the bubble. The bubble they was maybe their best opportunity. I'm thinking that for the LA Clippers, it is more of they're contending for the playoffs and not, contending for a championship. I think they'll be contenders for a playoff spot, not contenders for a championship. But overall, they're probably just pretenders. If you look at it in the grand scheme of things, pretenders, but they can definitely contend for a playoff spot.
Okay, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say they're contenders. I think they have the team to do it. Benedict Mathurin, when given the opportunity, is very good. Darius Garland, I think, not having the pressure that he had on Cavs, I feel like the Cavaliers had a lot of pressure on him. I would love to see Darius Garland step out of his shell and be very good for the Clippers, lead that team. And then you have, they just drafted Kingston Fleming.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Coming in. I know he's young, he's raw potential, but I like it. Then you're going to have a guy like Brandon Ingram, who you're not going to rely too heavily on. He can be your third option, which I think is where he can thrive, not being a star. He'll give you 20 points a game. And then Grady Dick coming off the bench is a solid move. So I'm going to say the Los Angeles Clippers are contenders.
Injecting a whole lot of youth in that team after having Harden, Lopez, Kawhi, and
Bradley Beal
in that roster. It's a complete turnaround. So
absolutely.
I guess I don't think you're wrong in saying they could surprise people, but I'm not 100% buying into it.
All right, next team. They have done pretty much nothing. They've lost some bench pieces. It's hard. This is going to be a hard one. The Cleveland Cavaliers, are they contenders or pretenders?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think they're still contenders. I still think they are. If they lose James Harden somehow, probably not, but I think it's more likely that they do get James Harden back on the roster. So, the series against the Raptors that I just mentioned worries me, but I think you get a full season of this team. I think they could be doing some pretty good things out in Cleveland.
I would disagree with that. I think they're closer to pretenders than they are to contenders. Really? Just because, maybe they get into the playoffs, but I think they're going to be the easiest team to upset that we've seen in a while. I don't think they have a team built that is going to be good enough. We saw Harden was a huge flaw in that team. So I do think the Cavaliers are going to be pretenders this year. Now, next one. Let's talk about them. They just made a trade for LaMelo Ball. All right, LaMelo Ball, the guy who's been the face of the Hornets for every year he's been on that team.
Yeah.
And now the Minnesota Timberwolves have brought him in. You're gonna have Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball. You lost Naz Reid, but you still got Rudy Gobert. You still have Ayo Dosunmu, who you just gave the contract. You have
Jaden McDaniels. Sorry, not the other McDaniels.
Jaden McDaniels.
Yes.
What do you think? Contenders, pretenders.
So in this scenario, I would look at this roster and say, wow, they got a good, pretty solid front court of LaMelo and Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels. Meanwhile, everything else, a little questionable with Rudy Gobert. And Rudy Gobert, in my opinion, stinks. He's not that good. But I've seen enough NBA 2K simulations where the Minnesota Timberwolves, in the first year of having LaMelo Ball, go to the finals and win it. So with that being said, I'm going with contenders for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm buying into that 100%. You can ask these questions and worry about them later between LaMelo and Anthony Edwards, but I don't care. This is a really funny duo that I can't wait to watch.
I would agree with that. Every single 2K franchise I've ever had with them being on the same team, they win all the time.
Hold on, are we Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, because we're looking at video games?
We are. Video games are helping us with our predictions, all right? We just exposed our big weakness. But no, they're pretenders. They are pretenders.
Really?
Yep, absolutely. I don't care what 2K says, all right? Because 2K does stupid stuff all the time. So I'm going to say they're pretenders because I don't see this working out. Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, those are two of the biggest personalities, egos that you have in the NBA on the same team. Those are guys who are used to always getting the ball. No one else gets the ball. Now, could we see an insane boost in LaMelo Ball's assist numbers? Possibly. Don't think it's going to be good. I think Rudy Gobert is awful at this point.
I agree.
He's continuously gone down every single year. And you get rid of Naz Reid, who you could kind of lean on. McDaniels, Dosunmu, they haven't really proved themselves as a consistent player on that team. So I'm going to say the Minnesota Timberwolves are, without a doubt, pretenders.
Okay.
All right, two more teams left
Okay.
here. This team has been completely forgotten about. When they were once the hot team. All right, they were once in the NBA Finals. They did not win, but they were in it. They were led by a guy who is hated in the New York Knicks organization. He ruptured his Achilles. They got rid of Miles Turner, but they brought in Ivica Zubac. The Indiana Pacers, are they contenders or pretenders? They were awful,
Ooh.
but are they contenders or
Ooh.
pretenders?
Man. I don't know. I feel like they could make a run this year because they still got Hallie, they got Zubac, they still got Siakam, they still got Neesmith, who Neesmith is a very underrated player in my opinion. But they gave up Benedict Mathurin, who was a pretty solid piece. I think TJ McConnell's still on the roster, if I'm not mistaken. I just see a lot of holes in this team. I don't think they can get back to it, especially with Halliburton being only, a year removed from that Achilles tear. I'm going to say probably not. Pretenders.
All right, I'm going to contradict that. I'll go contenders just because I feel like Zubac is solid.
Yeah.
He's solid. And then you bring back Halliburton. Pascal Siakam, yes, he's a year older, but I think he's so much better when Halliburton's on that floor. I think the entire team needs Halliburton because without it, they're awful.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say contenders. I don't think they're going to be at the same level as they were before, but I do think they have some holes, but I think they have the team that can at least compete.
Yeah.
Now, final team here.
All right.
They have made, without a doubt, some of the biggest moves we've seen in years. They had one of the craziest off seasons we've seen for America's 250th birthday, which just fit so perfectly. The Philadelphia 76ers, are they contenders or pretenders?
So, you know what here? I was originally leaning towards pretenders. I'm not going to lie. And I think I'm going to still continue to head in that direction because we know LeBron James is, he's old, he's crusty, he's a bit of a head case. Same with Jaylen Brown. He's a Twitch streamer at this point. Joel Embiid is always hurt. I am completely stupid if I was going to say that. So I am going to say contenders, obviously. This is easily the biggest and most loaded starting five we've seen in quite some time with the Philadelphia 76ers. Not to mention some of the bench depth they have is unmatched. They got Anthony Simons from the Celtics. What is it with the 76ers poaching from the Celtics recently? They got him. They have Adem Bona as a backup center who emerged as a pretty solid option last year. And as well, I think they brought in someone else. I can't remember who they brought in, but they brought in someone else that really moves the needle. Oh, Dean Wade. They brought in Dean Wade, who is going to be a valuable piece off the bench for the 76ers. So stamp it, contenders. And if I'm wrong, clip that, what did I say? Like it was like a minute of me saying that the 76ers wouldn't do anything. Clip that so you could say I was right. But I'm going contenders.
Yeah, I would agree with contenders. I think any human being, even if you don't know basketball, you know who LeBron James is.
Yeah.
All right, you most likely know about Jaylen Brown. You know about Joel Embiid. I think you would be an idiot to say pretenders, but I think there is a strong case for the pretender argument. You have a 42-year-old LeBron James. You have Joel Embiid who can't stay healthy. Tyrese Maxey dealt with a lot of injuries last year. VJ Edgecombe is very young. And Jaylen Brown, he had one really, really good year. But I'm still hesitant on saying that he can be the face of a franchise, which he may be, he may not be. You can't even tell on that 76ers team. So every single one of those players has a flaw. Now, if they play to their strengths, they're going to be amazing, which is most teams. But I'm not so sure that this team can get it done. But based on what we have right now, which is just paper,
Yeah.
they are contenders without
sure.
a doubt.
Yeah, the Eastern Conference has just gotten so good as of right now because
They're copy and paste of the Knicks.
Yes, 76ers, Knicks. You still have the Heat there. You still have who else? You got the Pistons are still in the conversation. The Cavaliers are still really, really good. Who else is there? The Magic. We didn't even talk about them. The Magic had a terrible postseason. They're still in the conversation because they got so much young talent on that roster. So the Eastern Conference is going to be good. Meanwhile, the Western Conference, I don't know really. I think things the tide might be changing towards the Eastern Conference being the dominant conference in the conference family.
Absolutely.
They're going to be the ones that are the big one at the head of the table in Thanksgiving this year. But anyways, I think is that it? Is that all the teams?
That is everything.
Alrighty. I think that's all we got for this episode of Talking Sports. We covered a lot. Well, we're closing in on 50 minutes. We gotta wrap this up real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, talked about a lot. We had a lot of fun here with this one.
Absolutely.
It was great to be back. Hopefully we'll be more consistent coming up. And stay tuned for more. So with that, I'm Andrew,
And I'm Miles.
and we'll see you next time, everybody.
See you guys.